Welcome to the Jeremiah Show. My special guest today is Sonny Emory. Sonny's a singer, a songwriter, and a fantastic and incredible drummer and percussionist. Sonny was the member of the Bruce Hornsby's Noisemakers band from 2002 to 2018. That's a career in itself right there. Those are some good years. He's also a former member of the band Earth, Wind, and Fire. He's worked with legendary artists such as, like I mentioned before, Bruce Hornsby, Steely Dan, Eric Clapton, the B-52s, and he kicked off Eric Clapton's 2023 North American tour September 8th in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Sonny's out here actually in LA right now and joins us from LA. He's here to perform at the Crypto Arena and a couple other places. He's going to join the legendary guitarist Eric Clapton for his Crossroads Guitar Festival. It's in Los Angeles again at the Crypto on September 23rd and 24th. But if that wasn't enough big news for you, Sonny has formed an exciting new group, Sonny and the Seventh Time. The members of the band's musical credits are literally a who's who in the music industry. And drummer Sonny Emory and longtime friend bassist Sam Sims are joined by Sonny's talented sons, Nic Gibran, he's on vocals and keys, and Ni Emory, he's the master engineer on the album. And they presented their self-titled debut album to the world the seventh time on November 17th. Welcome, my friend, Sonny Emory.
Oh, thanks, Jeremiah. Great to be here, buddy.
It's good to have you here. It's good to see you. Of course, we're doing this as a radio show, and if you want to check out the Sonny, in person, he's on. We'll be on the YouTube channel. We'll put this interview up. Let me start with an easy question for you. How good does it feel right now that you've presented this creation that you've worked on so long, your album, to the world? How does it feel to present that? It's this week. I mean, it's got to feel.
Incredible. It really does. It feels really, really good to get to that milestone. If you're a musician or you're creative and you're working on a work for quite some time, once you finally see it come to life and finish the process, for me is such a gratifying feeling. We put our heart and soul into our art. And I mean, anybody, it doesn't matter if you in music or whatever you do, if you attack the task and you have a big task in front of you and you complete the task, there's a certain amount of fulfillment and gratification there. So yeah, man, I feel great. I feel really, really good. And then it's all coming together with the with Eric's schedule and sync with what's going on with myself over there with him. And I'm having a ball right now musically, man. Just, kind of popping on all cylinders. I'm getting to play this great music with Eric every night and kind of digging, promoting my own thing. And, so it's fun, big time fun. Yeah.
I know. I always, whenever I hear someone ask that question, I always think, well, that's, of course it feels good. It's kind of it's a throwaway. But I really thought about it because I've listened to your album this weekend. I got it on Friday and I just been listening to it. We're playing it throughout the show today.
Okay.
And it's so good. And I just keep kind of putting myself in your shoes. I'm feeling that joy that I can feel it in the music, and then I'm thinking,
well, that's good, because that's exactly what I want people to feel, man. I mean, that's why I do it, period. You know what I mean? That's why I play drums. That's why I'm a musician. That's why I want to record music and get it out. I mean, this is about making people feel good and forget any worries or whatever they may have for just a few minutes, man. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And just spreading some joy, some love, and some light. The other part of it is I'm happy that the process is over. I'm really I'm relieved, but I love doing it, you know what I mean? And so
So it's never over, really.
yeah, it's never over.
but
Yeah, I
you,
mean, even when you're done, like I'm listening to the album now, and I'm going, maybe I should have done this, maybe I should have done that. It's a never ending cycle, man. You know what I mean? All you can do is that's a chapter, and then for the next one, I just go on to the next chapter, man, and just kind of keep creating and try to keep improving on what we've done. You know.
mhm. And isn't that a cool thing as a musician? Once you've created this album and you listen back and you're a perfectionist and you're like, oh, maybe I could
Yeah.
have done this a little bit different or that. Well, you get to take it on on the road, right? I mean,
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
tour, and when you
Yeah.
perform, you can
You can
play
do all that. Yeah.
play with that and see if it
Yeah.
works.
But being the perfectionist I am and the sonic snob I am, that's what my kids call me. And
Sonic snob.
yeah, and my close friends like Sam, boy, he is a real sonic snob. But when you're in it that deeply, you're gonna always hear something that can be different. It's not necessarily better, and that's what I've kind of matured, kind of gotten to that point where it's like, okay, well, yeah, we could have done it like that, or we could have recorded that tambourine that way, or done that vocal, or put a different effect on that. But that doesn't make it any better. That makes it different, you know.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
when you kind of come to that conclusion, you go, okay, I'm gonna do the best. I'm gonna do what feels good to me at this point, and then put it out, and hopefully people will like it.
Mhm.
You
And
know.
connect and bring that joy,
Yeah.
and that connection.
Yeah,
That's
because that's really what it's all about, man.
yeah.
People listen to music, man, they're not going nearly as deep as we go as musicians. You know what I mean? If it feels good, if it's coming off the stage or off the speakers and it's feeling good, they don't care about what EQ or what compressor or
Right.
none of that stuff. They don't care, you know?
Well, part of my life is in the food business, so I always tell people that when they're trying wine for the first time, they get so scared to try wine and
Mhm.
talk about it, and I'm like, "Do you like it?"
Yeah, right.
That's it. You know, you can
Right.
talk about all the complexities and all that.
Yeah.
That's boring. Just drink it.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
like
yeah,
it?
exactly,
And
exactly.
I
That is
think music has that, has a not much deeper, obviously, than wine, but has this, if it feels good to you, if it connects with you and
Yeah,
you like it,
exactly. Right,
there you go.
exactly. Right,
You
exactly. That's
you
the
nailed it.
magic because that's the point of doing it, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
if it's not gonna connect with anybody, there's no meaning, no point, you know?
Yeah. It's such a, I mean, it's been said a million times, but it's such a universal connector and
Yeah, yeah,
more than
exactly.
anything, I think, out there. I mean, more than language or anything, you can really connect through
Yeah,
music. It's its own
yeah.
language.
And it's
Well,
it's a healer.
mhm.
Music heals people, man, you know what I mean? It can change your mood. If your mood is different, you start to think differently, your body starts to react differently. It can actually heal people, man. So, that's why, I'm very particular about what we say in the lyrics that we write because I want to make sure that we're conscious of what we're saying and putting out to the world, you know.
Yeah, that is so important, isn't it? I think it really breaks through now. You can hear when you hear what you're putting out and
Mm,
it's right and um and it's pure and good and honest.
mhm.
It stands out more than out than ever, I think, in this
Yeah,
world
oh,
at the
yeah,
current
it does,
state. I
man.
mean, because
It
there's so much, it's so easy to complain, it's so easy to get angry, it's so
yeah,
easy to divide. But
yeah,
when you put out something good,
yeah,
uh, that that people can connect with and go, oh, there is some hope. There
yeah,
is some
right,
positive out
exactly,
there.
right, and it's
Um,
about unification, man, not dividing, so as much as, we can do as artists to facilitate that.
well, I want to get to that too, and I want to get into the album a little bit more
Mhm.
in a moment here. But since Sonny, it's your first time on this show, and then we get, you know, I really want to take some time to kind of get to know you
Sure,
and
man.
let the listener get to know you,
I'm here,
the
buddy.
man
Let's
behind behind the music.
let's do it.
So, how did it all begin for you? How
Oh,
did meaning music and this path that you chose for your life? Where did it all begin? What's day one, ground
well,
zero?
the short answer is God put this serious musical seed in me, man. And when I was born, uh, just really quickly, the first thing that my dad did when he brought me home from the hospital was to push my bassinet up against the stereo console, you know, the floor models. And he had
Okay.
Miles playing. My dad was a jazz musician. He had Miles playing
Oh,
Kind of Blue. And my
yes.
mom said
Good
that was the
album.
first thing that, you know, he shoved the bassinet right up against that stereo
That's a
console.
good first
Yeah,
album
yeah, right, exactly.
to be introduced
So
to.
so my grandfather was a pianist and organist, blues guy. My dad is or was uh, a woodwind specialist, saxophone, and an educator, big time educator, taught in the Atlanta public school system for 40 plus years. My
Mm,
mom was an artist, visual artist, and she was a singer, and she was an educator. She was educator. She taught in the Atlanta public school system too, but she was an early childhood specialist. So her thing was just pre-K kids, you know. And
that's
so
what my mom does.
really, oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
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 for 20
cool,
years.
yeah, man. So I had the benefit of all of that, and then my grandmother sang in church, and so I grew up in a musically rich
Mhm.
environment, and like I said before, God had already planted the seed in me, so it was just about watering it, and that's all. I mean, that's all my grandfather, my dad, my mom, my grandparents, that's all they did my entire life, man, was just watered that seed, you know, of creativity and first of all, being thankful to God and grateful for the gift that he gave me, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so, you know, and also teaching me that there are certain responsibilities that come along with that gift, you know, and to honor those responsibilities.
So, okay, I'm gonna skip ahead here because I wanted to get to this, but
Mhm.
when I listened to the album, um, I really feel like I can hear the music and your percussion, the deep roots that you have, and a love and a connection to your ancestors. And
Oh
am
yeah.
I hearing that correctly?
Yes, you
Because
are.
that's what I felt.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of the undercurrent. I mean, I did all the drums, all the percussion. I played a lot of keys on the record too. I do all the basic tracks by myself first. But to answer your question, yes, because I mean, you know, I'm a drummer. That's my first instrument, you know, um, drums and percussion. And over the last 10 years, not even I've gone really deep into the clave and Afro-Cuban rhythms uh and just trying to really cross that up and
Mm.
mix that up into a commercial soup, basically, you know. And so yeah, you're getting some of those vibes and some of the underlying percussion stuff that's going on deep in those tracks, you
And
know.
within you, where does that come from, that rhythm within you? Have you thought about that?
I think it's just an ancestral thing, man. I think it's just like, you know, I traced my lineage, and I'm Nigerian.
Mm,
So the Nigerian drummers are, I mean, you know, they're
yeah,
masters,
yeah.
you know, and so think that's where that's coming from, you know.
Why, when you trace that back, and it sounds like you know a little bit of that history of the Nigerian drummers. Um, what was, how did that all begin? Was it part of ritual? Was it part of religion? Was it a
Yeah,
part of,
it's a
going
part
out
of
on the
the
hunt, or in the, like, where did that all come from?
it's all of that, but it stems from the Yoruban religion. You know what I mean? So it is a religious uh thing, you know what I mean? And it's a part of the culture and the church. That's how they worship God, was with drums and these rhythms, and different deities have different
Mhm.
rhythms that correlate with the deities, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And and so that's just like, you know, that's like the root of it. And so when you take that and then you start to expand that and then you mix it up with different other rhythms and, you know, influences, you come up with some great stuff, man. One of my favorite albums of all time is This Is the Drum by Herbie. You know,
Oh, yeah.
where Bill Summers and Herbie, and I mean, you know, I know Bill great. I've met Herbie on occasion, don't know him that well, but love his music,
Oh,
always
yeah.
have. but they take a deep dive into that, you know what I mean? And you can, I mean, you can
Well, I
really,
gotta,
really hear it, you know, on that album. I don't know if you've ever checked that album out. It's
you
called
know,
This
I
Is
think I
the
have.
Drum.
I had a great jazz instructor a long time ago. Let me
Mm.
write it down though. What? Tell me.
Yeah, it's called, it's Dis, DIS is the DA drum. This is the drum.
Okay.
Beautiful artwork on the cover of that, man. It's powerful. You'll love it. You'll
Yeah,
love it.
I think I've heard it. Because I
Yeah,
do remember that title
yeah,
slightly. You know, it's bringing back memories of it.
right.
And I listen. We listen a lot of Herbie
Yeah,
Hancock in the jazz class, but
yeah,
he was such a
exactly.
great class. Well, I was hoping that you had done some research on your ancestry because I thought, um, you know, and telling me that you come from Nigeria, your family and ancestry, and the Nigerian drummers, and I think about the drum. Is there another instrument that really kind of can almost get inside of you? I mean, each instrument is so special and unique in its own way, but the drums really um, almost get inside of you, right? They
Yeah,
can make you,
they have a
uh,
primal nature to them.
yeah.
They-
So
Yeah,
it's
so
almost
it's,
like
well, think about your heart. Think
I
about
was
your heart. I mean, you're
turning
walking
to
your
that.
whole life, you got this thing pounding inside of you. I mean, you know what I mean? That's a drum. Your heart is a drum. So,
And
I mean,
and what
that,
the drum does. Go ahead.
yeah,
Sorry.
no, no, no. So I'm just saying. So if you're walking around with that, I mean, you know, most people don't even think about this. You know what I mean? But you're feeling that rhythm inside of your body. That's your center. You know, that's the core of your soul, your body. You know what I mean? Core of your body. And so that's why when you go to concerts, man, and you sit there and you feel that kick drum come through those speakers, you can relate with that right away. You feel that. I love that, man.
You
Yeah,
feel it's like
yeah,
pushing
you
out
could, yeah, push,
from within.
yeah, exactly. So so that's why I think that makes the connection, and that's why people want to dance when they hear music that's just rocking, man. You can't, you know, the saying is, if you're not feeling that, you must be dead. You know what I mean? Because if it's such a natural thing. It's just a natural response.
What does it feel like? Mick Fleetwood and I had dinner one night, a
Mhm,
bunch of people around, but then he comes over to me across the table and he sits down next to me and he's asking me about what I observe when I'm running a restaurant, right? And
mhm.
then he says, I get it, I get it. He said, I'm up there on that pedestal on the drums and I see the audience and I see, everybody in their
Mm.
different roles and I can almost control
Yeah,
the
can.
room in a way and the pace and if
Right,
some people I can tell if they're enjoying it, I can
right.
pick it up, I can pull it, all the way he explained it to me, you're really at
You're
in
at the focal
a way
point.
a maestro, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly. Well, Maurice White said the same thing to me. You know, I spent 13 years under him, with Earth, Wind& and Fire, and he said the same thing to me. He said, "Sonny, the drummer," he said, "we have to know every part that's going on,
exactly.
and we dictate the energy, the pace, all of that." So Mick is dead on. He's I mean, you know, and most drummers know that, you know what I mean? You sense that. Y- But then when you start really thinking about what it is, yeah, you orchestrate. But if you think about what a drum set is, literally, it's an orchestration of multiple instruments. I'm playing multiple instruments where somebody may be playing just bass guitar or just guitar, just a horn. I have a snare drum, I have hi-hat, I have a tom, another tom, different sounding tom, another tom. I have 8 or 9 instruments really brought collectively together to make one instrument, but individually they're all different instruments, different sounds. So it's like playing an orchestra, you know. So Mick is dead on with that one.
Yeah, and he was saying I can see, the guys on the side if somebody John drops a pick, I could,
Yeah,
like the guys are watching me where to run and what to
right.
do and all that. So I imagine that. I was trying to put myself in your shoes too. What is that like out of your, can you describe it to us through your eyes what that's
Yeah.
like to sit there and look out into that crowd
Well, the
and
most
watch.
gratifying, yeah, the most gratifying thing ever to me is when we jump into a groove and you see that sound wave pass pass first 10 rows and all the way out, and you just see people react. And
Just
then all of a sudden you got, yeah, all of a sudden you got 20,000 people, 30,000 people, and everybody is bobbing their head and clapping their hands, and they're all feeling it. And you know that you're the source of it as the
yeah,
drummer. You know what I mean?
you're
You're the
driving
source.
that.
Yeah, so you're driving it, you
You're
know. So
driving that energy wave. Wow.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's exactly what it is. You're pushing out that energy wave, and as that crosses the plane and just goes on out, man, it's really,
It,
really beautiful thing.
oh, I really can picture that. I hadn't thought about it that way, but you're touching 20,000 people
Yeah,
and beyond
yeah.
with what you're doing, and
Mhm,
really it's coming from, like we said earlier, within, without, coming
mhm.
out,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
everything plays together, the whole band, it
Right.
all comes together, it's all part of that experience, but right at the base of it
Yeah,
is you just,
is the drums, man,
yeah, the
and
drums.
the heartbeat. Because you're a drummer too.
Who, me?
Yeah, don't you play?
No.
You don't play at all? Okay, okay. I
I
thought you
can't.
played.
I wish I could. I can pound on things, but I can't do what you do.
Yeah,
No,
but
no, I'm not a
that's the
drummer.
essence of it, man. You know, that really is the essence. And and that's the most gratifying thing to me, man. You know, because and that's why I tell younger guys, it's great to like develop the chops and all that, right? And that's a lot of fun. But when you can sit there and just groove, man, and have that many people just grooving with you, it's an amazing thing.
I don't think there's probably a cooler job on earth than where you're sitting there. Honestly, right? I mean,
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you're looking at it, you're like,
yeah,
I'm here, and there's Eric Clapton,
yeah.
and there's,
Oh no,
you
dude,
know, these
I have to
just
pinch
great
myself.
musicians.
Yeah, I had to pinch myself. And it's so funny that you say that because before I got the gig with Earth, Wind and Fire, I had a really vivid dream. And I told my mom about it. And for some reason, I had a dream and I saw Maurice White in front of me. I saw the back of him and just a cloud, not people, just kind of, you know how a light cloud where you just, but I just
Mhm.
saw him in front of me.
Kind of a mist,
Yeah,
mo
exactly, man.
fog.
And then I woke up and I was like, oh wow, what does that mean? You know, and I think I've been to an Earth, Wind and Fire concert like a few days before that. I was in high school. But the funny part about it is I was sitting in the nosebleed section at the concert. I was way, way, way up top, you know. But it was my mom said it. She said it was a foreshadow of the things to come. And lo and behold, man, I got the gig. And one night I'm sitting behind him and I had that flash, that deja vu moment. I was, oh wow, this is it, man.
Um,
I'm here. I'm sitting here. That's Maurice White in front of me, dude, right there, you know. So
how
and I had
did
those
so
moments with Eric too, you know?
you had moments where you imagined yourself there, and then you were there
Well, I
in
mean,
play?
just like the other night. I didn't have a dream about the Eric situation, but just the other night, I'm sitting there, we're playing and we're grooving something, and I just looked at Eric. I was like, "Dude, that's Eric Clapton." You know, I'm just like, yeah,
It's like you almost thought of it for the first time.
yeah, right, exactly, exactly.
What's the next feeling? Is it, "Oh,
Well, it's the next
sleep,
feeling for me.
I'm playing with Eric
Yeah,
Clapton.
yeah. The
I
next
better
feeling
not
for
mess
me,
up."
well, the next feeling for me is just total gratitude, man. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's like I'm like, this could, I mean, you know, Eric can have his choice of any drummer in the world, dude. I'm so grateful and just so, and Maurice White and any of the artists that I've worked for, uh, they can have their pick of the litter of guys, man. You know what I mean? But you know,
Yeah.
I'm grateful that God has chosen to place me, you know, in these situations and has given me the opportunity to make music with these great people, you know.
Well, you bring up a good point right there. There are a lot of talented drummers out there, right? There's a lot of talented musicians.
Mhm.
You are extremely talented. I
Oh,
mean,
thank you,
I
buddy.
couldn't say enough. We could embarrass you all day about that, and you already know that. But I mean, there are a lot of musicians there, and as you said, Eric could pick pretty much
Mhm.
whomever he'd like to play with them. So have you asked him, or has he told you what about you? I mean, I've just met you for 30 minutes now, and I think I know the answer to this. I would choose
Well,
you as well because you just have this light and this brightness that is very attractive to a person to connect with you. But
yeah,
so there's that. You're already
yeah,
talented. So
yeah,
we
yeah.
know that you're sitting in the room because you got talent, but there's more. He chose you. Why?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we talked about it just briefly, but I mean, just like when I got a chance to play with him for the first time, he said to me when we hooked up more recently, he said, "Yeah, man, I just never forgot how that pocket felt." He said, "I really just enjoyed that pocket when we played, you know." And
That
I was
pocket.
like,
What does that mean?
"That's
Like that
the
you just got
groove,
in.
the groove,
Okay.
yeah, the groove."
You
He
guys are in the
liked,
pocket together.
yeah, exactly. Just kind of just creating that groove, that
Yeah.
pulse together. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, but and then personally for me too, it's just like, I've had some of the greatest bosses, you know, and I mean, and I have a special connection with most of them just because I'm there to really make sure my number one gig as the drummer is to support their musical ideas and to give them the foundation so that they can expand and feel comfortable in doing what they do, you
Mm,
know. So
Jesus.
I've tried to really maintain uh keep that in perspective, you know what I mean? And just know that I'm kind of here more as a musical servant, and support.
And
Yeah.
a nice way to look at it. Well, I want to hear more about that and about the new album and your sons and all this great thing. I can already tell I'm out of time.
Let's
We haven't
let's
even
go, dude.
started. We got to
We
keep
have to
going
do a
because we got
part
to push
two.
through. If we definitely. I hope you come back so much.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm already 6 minutes past where I should have taken a break. So I'm sorry to the sponsors.
No.
the advertise the advertisers. I'm sorry to this radio station, but we'll take a real quick break. Although we're gonna go out and protest. I'm with Sonny Emory, Sonny in the seventh time. World renowned drummer Sonny Emory is currently on tour, and Eric Clapton's band for his September 2023 North American tour dates. Sonny and the Seventh Time. His new album is titled The Seventh Time, and it's spelled with I love this, a seven, EVENTH time. The
Mhm.
first single and the video for the album is Lost in the Sunshine, which we will be debuting at the end of the interview. And you can find Sonny and the tour dates at sonnyemory.com, SONNYEMORY.com. We'll be right back with more of Sonny Emory.